Good afternoon. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, coming to you again from our digital desk. As we do throughout the day, we'd like to have a conversation about a new law that goes into effect starting January 15th. New year, new laws coming on the books. This one technically titled Parental Notification by Social Media Operators Act. Well, that is a long and complicated name for a system that's going to make social media platforms, not just Twitter, now X, not just Facebook, not just Instagram, really any social media platform, any operator that has children talking to each other. Think about gaming platforms that kids may be on. Starting January 15th, if any new account is created and the person marks that they're under the age of 16, they will have to get parental notification. Parents have a number of items they can walk through to get that verification. One of the champions behind this bill that is now law, Lieutenant Governor Jon Husted, has been a big proponent of this. We're going to welcome in the Lieutenant Governor and say Happy New Year. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year.
Thanks for joining us on this topic. Let's start with, before we get into maybe some of the particulars, what was so important about this to you? What was it about what's been going on with children and social media that made you want to push so hard for this piece of legislation?
Well, it's harming our children. The data is very clear that social media use, particularly for children under the age of 16 and especially under the age of 13, is very harmful to their academic development. It's causing mental health problems and it's harming our kids. And we're not banning anything. We just want to make sure that parents know that their children are on these apps, on these devices, and that they can have the opportunity to set filters so that the kids are getting age appropriate information, and that parents are engaged in controlling the digital lives of their children. Right now, social media companies, especially gaming platforms, can go around parents, have children involved in things that mom and dad don't even know about.
What kind of a response have you gotten? Have you heard it all from X or from Meta or from Facebook? How does this go into effect starting the 15th? We're seeing a lot of states do this, but we will be the next one. Have you gotten any kind of a response from the operators, the platforms themselves?
Well, initially, we didn't get anything from them because they were hopeful that it wouldn't pass. But once we started to engage and they started to realize that this was going to become law in Ohio, they engaged. We were open to, hey, we want you to comply with this. We want it to be as easy as possible, but we just want to make sure parents know what's happening in the digital lives of their children. We've had some pushback in other states. There have been 11th hour lawsuits to stop the implementation of this by the trade groups that represent these particular entities, the Metas, the Facebooks, Instagrams, the TikToks, the YouTube platforms with Google. And so we're hopeful that they won't do that in Ohio, but that's what's happening in other states. We just simply want parents to be notified and set the standards for which their children are on which their children are using these platforms.
And to be clear, this is only going to impact new accounts. Basically, everything that's already been created is grandfathered in. There's a number of ways parents or legal guardians can get this. They can fill out, sign, and return a consent form. If it's an application or a platform that uses a credit card or a debit card, that can be used as proof. There's even a process of calling a toll-free number to get verification, maybe even a video conference call to verify with the platforms that your child is signing up. You can use a government ID. I'm going to be devil's advocate here for a second. I'm a 13-year-old kid. I want to start my own account. I don't want my parents to know about it. What's going to keep me from just putting in a birth date or checking the box that says, yes, I am 16 years of age?
Well, the onus is on the social media provider to verify it. So they're going to have to go through this verification process. You can't just say that you're 16. You have to prove that you're 16 or that the parent is giving you permission to do this. And you outlined the ways to do it, but you're not going to simply be able to just say, hey, I'm checking a box, I'm 16 years old, there's going to have to be some form of verification where a mom and dad or guardian are going to have to sign off before you get on the platform.
We have unfortunately seen here in our own backyard in Streetsboro, and I know you have dealt with the family, the young man who was being sextorted and unfortunately took his own life because of that situation. Are those the kinds of things that you're hoping to avoid? Or is this bullying? Is it all of the above?
All of the above. You've got it. You see, there are a number of suicides related to sextortion, addiction to platforms, bullying. You see the academic decline, the mental health challenges. Essentially, remember, these are algorithms that are trying to addict your children to these platforms to monetize it on behalf of these companies that are making billions of dollars off our kids. And it is what's happening to this generation of children is something that we're gonna regret not doing more to engage in how social media, video game platforms are addicting them and harming their academic mental health development. And so all we're trying to do is just to give parents more of a say and to ask them to get involved. By the way, don't wait for the law. If you have a child under the age of 16, you should make sure that you're putting the proper filters on their devices. I encourage you to wait as long as you can before you have a young child to even begin to use some of these devices. Just think about it. You would never let a stranger into your child's room to have a private conversation with them. Yet if you have these apps or these devices on your child's phone, that's exactly what can happen to them, and you'll never know about it.
It's very good advice, Lieutenant Governor. We always give our interviewees, our guests here, the final word. This goes into effect in a couple of weeks. Not sure if there'll be a rush of kids trying to sign up in the next 2 weeks, or if we will get that 11th hour possible lawsuit against the state of Ohio. You get the final word here on the subject.
Well, look, we got to look out for our kids, and what's happening in their online world is very destructive to their development. Engage, make sure you know what's happening. This law is helpful, but you need to do more in that. Engage as parents, guardians, people that care about the kids, and make sure we're doing all we can to stop the harmful algorithms from causing their academic mental health and bullying, other things like that. We have the responsibility. We're the moms and dads, the grandparents. Let's make this happen.
Very good advice. Lieutenant Governor, thank you for the time today. We know you're very busy, but we know you're passionate about this topic, and that's why you helped get this legislation passed. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Just wanted to give you that sort of synopsis as we get the year rolling and we get a little bit closer to January 15th, why this law has been put in place. And we're going to keep an eye on it, especially as we get closer to see if some of those roadblocks that were put up in other states happen here in Ohio. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be here on our digital platforms. Our 3 o'clock news starts in just about 50 minutes on Channel 19, and that starts 3.5 hours of news. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a great afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps